Question. We are trying to get my son properly evaluated for an IEP. We fought the school to get the evaluation, having to go to the district level and threaten to sue them if they didn't. He has a 504 due to an autism and ADHD diagnosis, and we suspect he has specific learning disabilities in math. We finally got the process rolling at the start of July and met for the results in September. We have many issues with the evaluation, but I wanted to ask about one in particular. He was given a KTEA3, which is an Kaufman achievement test, which showed low scores in both math sections and average or high in other sections. This is exactly what I wanted them to look for. Should be good news, right? Wrong. The school psych put that these scores should be used with extreme caution because he just refused to try on those sections. Is this allowed? I'm not going to sit there and say whether it's allowed or not, okay? Schools do stupid stuff, and that's stupid. Now, what you didn't say is whether your child qualified. And if your child qualified, but I look at the diagnostics, autism and ADHD. Okay, so now we have autism, and I'm assuming because of the KTEA scores that are average and high, that your child has high functioning autism and ADHD. So that also tells me that there's going to be deficits in executive functioning, and also which manifests over into their academics. And so at the same time you go, okay, well, how does ADHD or autism manifest for my child, which comprises their individual circumstances, which is what the Andrew F. decision tells the IEP teams to look at. What's the individual circumstance of the child? So we can individualize the child's goals and services and supports and supplemental aids and services that may benefit the child in the general education classroom. Now, if your child has those two things, they tend to manifest as work refusal sometimes because they don't want to look dumb in areas where they don't feel confident. It could be inattention, high rates of distractibility, all of those things. So that is the individual circumstance of the disability. That's how it manifests for your child. So to have a school psychologist or anybody else come back and go, well, take extreme caution with the math results because, he just didn't want to show any effort. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Okay, that's tied back to the individual circumstance of the child. Now, does that mean that we don't create goals? Does that mean that the IEP team has to sit there and recognize formally that your child has a specific learning disability in math? No. If your child meets the eligibility criteria in any of the other 13 areas, then no. You don't have to sit there and go, well, we can't create a math goal or a reading goal because he didn't qualify in those areas. Once you qualify in one area, it opens up the window to look at the deficits and how your child's educational performance areas are impacted. And if they're negatively impacted across academics, communication, social, emotional development, or in functional independent living skills, then we need to develop goals. They need to be considered because many of these areas overarch and negatively impact the other areas, whether it's deficits in communication that then overarch, they impact the child's comprehension in written expression areas, or their social emotional deficits, which includes executive functioning in many regards, overarches and impacts as things like math because I'm not good at it, I'm not confident, therefore I'm not going to show a lot of effort. As a way to mask, as a way to try to fly under the radar. It's very common. But shame on them for sitting there saying, well, take that with caution. We're not necessarily saying that your child has a specific learning disability in math. Like I said, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's putting and connecting the dots of where your child's educational performance deficits are and then developing an IEP that globally serves your child across those educational performance areas of academics, communication, social emotional development, which includes behavioral responses, and in functional and independent living skills. You're right.